Hello again. I'm Chris Henry, the Southern Gospel Gardener. Thanks for joining us again. This week we're going to be looking at some flowering shrubs that attract hummingbirds. And these shrubs like to have plenty of shade, so we're going to find some shady spots to put them. Also, we're going to be talking about one of the more popular groups these days, the Booth Brothers. So tune in right now and hope you enjoy it as we bring gardening to you Southern Gospel style. Well, here we are once again in the southwest corner of my backyard, and we're going to put a plant right behind me, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Now right here next to me, it's called Heavenly Bamboo. Now if you look right here, the leaves are real pretty. Some of them are green, some of them are kind of an orange yellow. And now these leaves change throughout the seasons. In the fall, they have a nice red hue to it. Very pretty. The berries turn red. They come out in the winter and they look real nice. They are poisonous, so don't let the kids eat them. But the main key to this particular shrub is keeping it low. Most of the times you see people plant these, they get huge, they get tall, they get bushy. They don't look real good. So you want to keep them kind of low. You want to trim all the branches off the bottom so that it stays clean down here. But you want to keep it kind of thin. You don't want it to get super bushy, and they can. So we don't want to do that. Now right here is where we want to put a plant that really loves shade. This is called hosta. Now it's a type of lily that comes out, and the flower actually usually blooms around June. But that's not what we want it for. I like it because it has really great green leaves. These green leaves are great, and as I plant it, as the season goes on, it'll mound and build up. And what we'll have right here underneath this palm tree behind me and this bamboo tree, the heavenly bamboo, will be a nice green coverage right on the floor. It likes a shade, so it's going to get shade from the fence, it's going to get shade from these plants. It will get a little bit of morning sun, which is just fine. One of the things that I like about this particular plant, though, is that it attracts hummingbirds. Everybody loves hummingbirds, and so that's what this plant is designed to do. So we're going to put it down here, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to start clearing out some bark so that we can start digging. Now, I told you that we were going to talk about a group called the Booth Brothers. Booth Brothers have been around for a very long time now, but it was only recently that people really started noticing them. Now, back in 2002, my dad brought a CD home from the National Quartet Convention. And the song on that I really loved was called This Love Is Mine. Michael Booth sang it, and it was incredible. Now, this is an old song that I heard from the Blackwoods. The Blackwood Brothers, Bill Shaw recorded this years and years ago. But when I heard Michael Booth do it, it was incredible. I fell in love with the group, and from then on, I've been a pretty big fan of the Booth Brothers. Now, of course, a few years later, they had Jim Brady join them at baritone, and they put out an album called The Blind Man Saw It All. And I bet you have heard of that song. What a song. It became Song of the Year in 2006, Singing News Fan Awards, and rightly so. What an incredible song. And so we're going to talk about that song and some other songs while I start digging this hole and getting this prepared for the hosta.
And if it's true for you, get on your feet and sing along.
Like I was saying earlier, when the Booth Brothers came out with the Blind Man Saw It All album, that was an incredible album. When I heard it, it was something new. It was something fresh. It was still Southern Gospel, but it had an edge on it that I had never heard before. Really enjoyed it, and even from the first song, Testify, what a powerful song, and then The Blind Man Saw It All. Man, that was great. I had an opportunity to be at the 2006 National Quartet Convention. when they were doing the top 10 songs of the year. And when they did that song, the crowd came alive, and I knew right then, before the voting before they let us know what the vote was, I knew that that was going to be the song, and sure enough, it was the song of the year, and rightly so. What an incredible song. And now, a lot of people love that album, but let me tell you what my favorite album was the next one they put out called Harmony. Now, Harmony was just a table project. You could not find it in the stores. They only sold it from their concerts at their table, and that is actually my favorite song. It's got a lot of great songs on it, like I'll See You in the Rapture, and some old hymns that they've redone. I want to dig out a little bit more. I'm going to put some fertilizer down and let you listen to some music right now. Bark around the hosta. Luckily, we've already got a little drip system here that's stretching to the hosta, so it's going to get plenty of water. Let's head to the front yard and plant something else. The next plant that we're going to be putting in the ground is going to be in the front yard. So here we are in a nice shady area. It's called a stilby. Now, a stilby really likes shade. Really doesn't like to get a whole lot of sun. Very little, if none at all. They can survive in just about any type of soil, whether it be wet or dry, as long as it's wet during its first year. So it looks like I'm going to need to move this rock. This rock is right in the way. It's fairly large. I put it here. I never really liked it being here. So we're going to move it, and we're going to put that stilby right here. Now, right behind me is a hydrangea. Now, I love hydrangeas. They have some really beautiful flowers in May. A stilby will have its flowers from anywhere from May to September, depending on when it decides to just start blooming. So it varies with time. But I'm going to put that, a stilby, we're going to move that over here. Now you can see the difference in the leaves. Hydrangeas have a very large leaf. This has a very small leaf. I like that. It's going to give it some variation. With the bush behind it, the hydrangea, the astilbe, it's going to look really good. So let's move this rock. Now, I don't know if anybody got to pick up this album while it was a table project for the Booth Brothers, but it's called Trail to Paradise. That's where they started singing some good old cowboy tunes. And I grew up listening to Roy Rogers, Gene Autry with my dad. Love those songs, so I love their album. Now, if you like the Sons of Pioneers, that's an album that you might want to pick up if they still have it on their table. Looks like we're going to need to clear some bark out of the way as usual. So let's do that. Now, one thing that I think the Booth Brothers are good at is taking old, classic Imperials songs. The group Imperials, great group that had a Southern Gospel group that had a contemporary edge back in the 70s. They did some great songs. Well, the Booth Brothers are bringing some of those songs back, such as Passing the Faith Along. Now, I really love that song. I liked it back in the day, and now I like it even more with the Booth Brothers doing it. And, of course, one of the most popular Imperial songs of all time, Sail On. And as soon as I heard the Booth Brothers recording Sail On, I thought, it's about time. That song was meant for the Booth Brothers. Well, upon digging this hole, I find that this soil is a lot different than the soil just 40 feet that way. This soil is very sandy. Looks like it's going to be able to drain really well. So what I'm going to want to do is put a little bit more steer manure in instead of dirt. Instead of mixing it about 50-50, what I want to do is put in a little bit more of this gardening soil with steer manure in it, and it'll help retain the moisture, especially during that first year, which is very critical for these plants. So let's throw some of this in. Now, one of the songs that they've recently recorded with Larry Goss as their producer was Then I Met the Master. Now, what a great song that is. It starts out with a lot of a cappella voices singing, and Ronnie Booth comes on with that smooth baritone voice that he has. Now, I know they call him a lead singer, but let's face it, he's really a great baritone singer. And he comes and does that, and let me tell you, it's the best version of Then I Met the Master that I've ever heard. So I've mostly put steer manure and garden soil on this. I'm going to put a fine layer of dirt right on top of everything, just so some of the natural elements remain around this plant, so we can start to get used to what's on this. What's in the soil, I should say. We'll bring the bark around it. You can see the difference in the leaves, but I really think that this is going to work out well. It's in a good shaded spot, but at the same time, it's going to contrast with this hydrangea. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're planted kind of close, and that could become a problem in the future, but we'll just have to trim it and make them work together. Well, I hope you've enjoyed talking about the Booth Brothers. So many great songs that they've come up with, and I love the guys in the group. Ronnie Booth, what a great Southern gentleman. Michael Booth, the guy's crazy nuts, but I love him. Love to hear him sing, love to hear him talk and MC. And Jim Brady's becoming one of the great songwriters in Southern gospel music. And these three boys, they've got still room to go up. They've got so much potential in that group. I got a chance to sing with them on a cruise back in October, going down to Mexico. And these fellas are the real deal. They don't fake it. They don't just get on stage and do their show. They're the real deal. They're real Christian gentlemen. And I know that when you go to see them in concert, you can appreciate the real Christianity and the real love of God that they show through their music. So, got one more thing to do right now. It's spring, and the bugs are coming back. And out here in California, we get lots of spiders. Big ones, and big black ones with the little red things on their bellies. That's right, we get black widow, so I got to start spraying. At least that's what the wife says. So that's what I'm going to get to right now.